Now that Sora is in Smash Ultimate, does that mean that Smash Bros. Is now canon to the Kingdom Hearts lore? I mean, Kingdom Hearts is already a crossover between Disney and Final Fantasy already, and there have been references to Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy games, and seeing how Sora is now with Cloud and Sephiroth in Smash, could they start referring to that in future Kingdom Hearts games too? Also, can Sora be Bayonetta? Surely not, but could that mean that Bayonetta could be a super boss in a future Kingdom Hearts game? I mean, not really, but...
So boss, I just got off the phone with Nintendo Ninja and the talks with Virtual Console are on the table. It is such an amazing, amazing news. What happened? What happened? Oh, I was just asleep. Was I dreaming? Was I? What? What is this? What? Oh. So I guess I wasn't dreaming at all. So Sora in Smash. Can't believe that a character that many people believed was never gonna make the cut finally made the cut as the final fighter for the second fighter pass in Smash Ultimate. And this is an incredible feat, which obviously we will commend, and we already commend in a previous video, but that is not what the purpose of today's video is going to be about. This video is all about speculation and figuring out which Smash characters can get beat up by Sora and which characters can Sora get his ass kicked. Stay tuned for this one because this one is going to be a very fun and spicy video. So one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is that given how Sora is now in Smash Ultimate and given the already amazing feats and accomplishments he has been able to do in his respected franchise, such as cutting buildings left and right, defying the laws of gravity, and even managing to beat Sephiroth twice, and debating whether or not that is canon, we will obviously deal with that when that time comes. But with so many things that Sora has done in his respective series, why not use that as the basis of our argument here and try and test the strengths of all the other Smash characters that we know and love and see which characters can win and which characters can lose against Sora canonically. Emphasis on the quotations there because I can see the comments in this video. I can see many of you guys trying to defend your respective favorite franchises and all that kind of stuff. So quotations. Okay? Now originally the plan to list all the candidates that would fight against Sora and see who would win and who would lose was originally going to be chronological order, but seeing how that is way too much work and a lot of Nintendo IP research, I figured we'll just start with Mario and then work our way however we can in terms of who's going to be next. So obviously the first one that we got to dive into with the list of candidates is the Super Mario franchise. And obviously we got to think about Mario and Luigi, Wario, Bowser, Peach, Daisy, and Rosalina. We are not putting DK here because DK is with Donkey Kong, but all these characters, I do not believe they have the capacity to at least go toe-to-toe against Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora or Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora. Mario and Luigi could go, you know, a few rounds with KH1 Sora and possibly Dream Drop distance, considering that they're sort of like the same level of, you know, strength. But Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 would take a very, very long time unless we're talking about the Super Mario Bros. Z version of Mario and Luigi, in which case they could probably win against Sora. Bowser could probably win against KH1 Sora, assuming, of course, we use the logic of if he is as strong as Mario. Peach and Daisy, I don't think they would have any capacity of beating Sora, unfortunately. And Rosalina, maybe considering that she is an intergalactic entity of some sort, she could probably win against KH1 Sora, Dream Drop Distance Sora, but not against KH2 and KH3 Sora. So that's what we have with Mario here. Now we're going to move on with Donkey Kong because I just listed that one while I was talking about that. And this one's going to be short to the point because I personally believe that none of the Donkey Kong characters could win against Sora of any kind. Donkey Kong cannot win against KH1, KH2, and KH3 Sora, as well as Dream Drop Distance. Diddy Kong, obviously, because he's basically a weaker Donkey Kong. I'm not talking about in terms of how they play in Smash. I'm talking about in terms of canon. And King K. Rool maybe probably against KH1 Sora, but it depends on how far Sora's travels has been and assuming whether or not he has been to Hollow Bastion. So DK, the DK series, probably, but it is not possible. Next we have the Legend of Zelda franchise, and I actually think this one's going to be a fun one because Zelda / Sheik, because they're technically the same person, they could probably go toe-to-toe against all of the Soras, whether KH1 Sora, KH2, KH3, and 3-drop distance. I believe that it would be a fair fight with them. Link, but mostly Breath of the Wild / Adult Link, could probably go have a fair fight against KH2 and KH3 Sora, because he has handled so many feats in his adventures, be it from Twilight Princess to Skyward Sword, and of course in Breath of the Wild, since he is the hero of the wild. And he has, if you go for those that play Age of Calamity, you guys know how hard he goes. So Adult Link could probably win against all Soras. Toon Link could probably go toe-to-toe against KH1 Sora and Dream Drop Distance Sora, but not so much KH2 and KH3. Same could go with Young Link, but Ganondorf, I think Ganondorf would be the same as Zelda / Sheik and Link. They would obviously be able to go toe-to-toe against all of the Links, but in terms of how fair of a fight would it be, it would depend on how each KH Sora would handle each of those respective characters. Next we have Pokemon, and Pokemon would honestly depend on the trainer and whether or not they injected a shitload of vitamins, minerals, and IVs and EV training into those Pokemon. So in the case of Pokemon Trainer, if Charizard, Squirtle, and Ivysaur are like maxed out buffed with their stats, they could probably win against KH1 and KH and Dream Drop Distance Sora. I'm not so sure about Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora or Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora, but I think Mewtwo could probably handle that. Lucario could probably handle them. Greninja could probably be the same thing. He could probably win against KH2 Sora, but not so much KH3 Sora. Maybe he would for sure win against KH1 and Dream Drop Distance, but the other ones I don't think so. And who else am I missing? Incineroar, probably the same wheel as Greninja. So depending on which Pokemon you use. Also Pikachu probably cannot win. Same thing with Pichu, probably cannot win against KH1, KH2, or KH3 Sora. Neither will with Dream Drop Distance. So it just really depends again on the maximum amount of stuff, of buffs, their special moves, and just in everything in general. So mixed bag here. This one is a mixed bag. Next we have Capcom, because Capcom is sort of mixed with Street Fighter and Mega Man, and I think the Street Fighter gang could win against KH1 and maybe against KH2 Sora, and Mega Man, I probably just KH1 Sora. KH3 Sora, I probably would be a tie with the Street Fighter guys, mainly with Ryu versus KH3 Sora, but I think KH3 Sora will probably win against all of them without even trying. Now with Sonic here, it just depends. If it's his supersonic form, maybe he can win against Chris and Kingdom Hearts 1 version or his Dream Drop Distance version, but I don't think he'll be able to beat against KH2 Chris or KH3 Chris. So with Sonic here, it honestly depends how much he wants to beat the living daylights out of Chris because of all the things that they've done in Sonic X, because they are friends. So yeah, it really depends. If it's normal mode, I don't think he'll be able to win against KH1, Dream Drop Distance, KH2, and KH3 Chris. But if it's a supersonic, he has a chance against fighting KH1 Chris and maybe Dream Drop Distance Chris, but not so much KH2 Chris and KH3 Chris. Also, I am aware of what name I said and I don't care. Next we have the Bandai Namco crew, which is Pac-Man and Kazuya, and Pac-Man is not going to win anything. Pac-Man is Pac-Man. He probably is more worried about his family in Pac Island or in Pac-Man Village if you play the Pac-Man World games. Meanwhile, Kazuya probably could go toe-to-toe against KH2 Sora if he goes full-on Devil Mode, but he would definitely win against KH1 and Dream Drop Distance Sora, but it would be very, very debatable against KH2 and KH3 Sora. Next we have the Star Fox crew, and yeah, I don't think they're gonna win against Sora. They deal with their ships. Their ships could probably beat Sora, but Sora has gummy ships, or gummy ships. You guys get the point. I don't think they'll be able to even come close to KH1 Sora's overall strength. Next we have the Kid Icarus crew, and I actually believe all of them, Pit, Dark Pit, and Palutena, can go toe-to-toe and probably win massively against all form of Soras, KH1 Sora, Dream Drop Distance Sora, KH2 Sora and KH3 Sora because they're gods and goddesses. Sora has never faced a god. And no, man sex doesn't count in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Lingering Will does not count because that's just a lingering spirit. They're not gods. Sora has never faced a god in the games before. He is not that type of JRPG character. He has faced Disney foes and human beings. So yeah, the Icarus Crew can definitely wipe the floor against Sora. Next we have Metroid, and I think Samus, if she has her entire arsenal, excluding ZSS, because ZSS could probably win against just Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, not so much Dream Drop Distance, and for sure not KH2 and KH3. But if she had her suit and all of her abilities and everything in her arsenal, from Super Metroid to Other M to Dread, even if let's say we use Dread, okay, I think Dread's the more powerful of how Samus can be capable of. If we just use Dread plus Super Metroid, I think she could win against Kingdom Hearts 2 and maybe win against Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora. For sure against Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance Sora, but that's also for debate there. Dark Samus though, yeah, Sora cannot go within a couple of feet against her because remember, we're talking about quote unquote canon here. Dark Samus is made out of Phazon, a radioactive substance that the Galactic Federation shits their pants on more so than the Metroids and the X-Parasites in Fusion. The Phazon, literally you get touched by it, it is basically a radiation virus. You're gonna need some special remedy for that, much like how Samus needed a special suit to keep her alive and keep the virus at bay during the course of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, as she was going to fix and save quote unquote all of her bounty hunter friends and having to deal with Dark Samus at the end. Sora cannot win against Dark Samus. You would have to wear a special type of suit against Dark Samus, and that alone requires a lot of work and figuring out what Phazon is all about. So yeah, Dark Samus can definitely win against Sora here simply because no one can go near her and you're gonna need some special tools to fight her in general. Ridley is kind of like the same bus as Samus, because if let's say Samus time and time again has to have faced Ridley in the past, which she has, and Ridley is no foe either. He is not an easy foe to fight in any of the renditions that he has been in all of the Metroid games, be it in the 2D and in Prime. Ridley can go toe to toe against KH1 and Dream Drop Distance. KH2 maybe, it depends on how motivated he is towards wanting to attack Sora and wanting to beat Sora. But KH3, I really doubt Ridley could beat KH3 Sora. And next we have the Xenoblade Chronicles crew, so that means Shulk from Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I personally believe that these guys have a fair fight against all Soras, and they might just have a strong battle against KH2 and KH3 specifically. They would for sure wipe the floor against KH1 and Dream Drop Distance Sora, but KH2 and KH3, they might struggle a little bit, but it would be a fun fight. It would be a very fair fight because Sora loves to fight fair. Alright, so next we have a list of people that definitely cannot beat Sora whatsoever, so we're gonna breeze through it in 3, 2, 1. Steve, Minecraft characters, definitely cannot beat Sora. All the Mii costumes cannot beat Sora. No, you cannot count Dante as an actual fighter here. There are costumes. They will get pulverized by either Sora. Then there is also Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is not winning against Sora because he's technically his pet in the Smash universe. Then we have Rob. Rob, maybe if he has some sort of like memory ability that he can copy and move all the movesets. Now Rob is not winning against Sora either. Neither are the Wii Fit trainers. The Wii Fit trainers are probably more focused on training Sora and ensuring that his core is perfect and he is, his shoulders are, they're probably mentoring Sora and making sure he is keeping a satisfied diet, especially considering that he has not eaten since his mom cooked dinner for him in Kingdom Hearts 1, and we have no idea what that dinner is at this moment in time. So these are all the characters. I think there's probably a bunch of others, but we'll probably go over it later in this video. So yeah, all these characters definitely cannot beat Sora. No matter which rendition of Sora it is, they cannot beat that Sora. Next we have Kirby, so that's Kirby, Meta Knight, and King Dedede. Now we're gonna start with the latter because King Dedede, if he is that lazy and uncommitted to trying to beat Kirby, even though he has tried to beat Kirby and in most cases have done it successfully, King Diddy probably just does not want to fight Sora at all. He knows that he is not going to win the fight at all. He knows that he's just not going to bother trying, all that kind of stuff. So King Diddy obviously cannot win against any of the Soras. Meta Knight probably against KH1 and Dream Drop Distance, but more so KH1 because KH2 and KH3 would probably wipe the floor against Meta Knight. And Kirby, if we're talking about the Dark Matter trilogy alone, so that means what? Like basically him having to fight against Dark Matter and anything space related, and Kirby has done some stuff in the past, so I think Kirby can win against any of the Soras for sure, you know. Plus he technically has a Keyblade too, so he has that level of power and light within him that he can just manifest and just pulverize Sora left and right. Next on our list here is Animal Crossing, and yeah, no, they're not winning against Sora at all. They're probably gonna help him renovate Destiny Islands thanks to, you know, New Horizons, and so they have a better understanding of how islands work. So they're probably gonna help him build something nicer than what they have at Destiny Islands already. So yeah, they're not gonna bother fighting Sora. Sora's not gonna bother fighting them. They're just gonna start building houses and I guess build a better community for Destiny Islands. Which, by the way, Sora, you gotta eat that dinner, man. You gotta eat that dinner soon. You know, like, who knows how long that dinner has been, you know, waiting for you to eat. Then we have Earthbound, which is Lucas and Ness. And I think they have a good chance of winning against Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora and Dream Drop Distance Sora, but not so much against KH2 and KH3. And that's probably the best way to say it. Maybe they can win against KH2 if they work together, but, you know, Ness could maybe, because he has fought against Gigas. I'm not sure about Lucas, but Gigas is a menace. So we'll just say that they can be close to beating against KH2 Sora, but they can't reach KH3 Sora. Anyway, we're almost done because we just have 3 more to go, and this one is Persona 5. So Joker from Persona 5 probably could beat all of the Soras. It just depends on whether or not they're using the same logic and rules of the metaverse. And so if they are in the metaverse and Joker has, you know, good personas and a very, very stacked and buffed Arsene, or maybe he evolved it into Satanael, or maybe he has Raul from Persona 5 Royal. It just depends on the builds, the setups, and whether or not he has the, you know, the amount of strength, HP, and SP to handle what Sora has to offer in each of his renditions. But for sure against Kingdom Hearts 1 and Dream Drop Distance Sora, he would wipe the floor against them. And KH2, KH3, it just depends on the builds and the personas that he has in his arsenal, as well as how strong is he physically and mentally in order to utilize those personas. Now we have Fire Emblem, or as the Smash people like to call them, the anime sword fighters. And these guys, I don't really know much about each of their respective lore and each of their respective games, but I can technically say that they might win against all the Soras. They might have a fair fight against KH2 and KH3s. I think Chrom and Lucina maybe, as well as Corrin. I'm not so sure about Robin, because Robin, both renditions are strategists, so I think they're going to be helping Chrom or Lucina in dealing the right amount of damage against Sora in each of their renditions, as well as Roy the Boy and Ike and Marth. I think they could probably win against all Soras as well. Like I said, I am not 100%. Oh, and Byleth. I think Byleth could win too. Yeah, I think it just depends. Again, I'm not a Fire Emblem fan. So I don't really know how to, you know, structure this part, but I think they can. And we're just gonna leave it with that and then move on with the last one that we have saved when it comes to this speculation. And the last one that I have saved is, of course, Mama Bayonetta herself. Maybe you guys were wondering, when was I going to talk about Bayonetta in this theory video? Because I absolutely 120% believe Bayonetta can kick Sora's ass, no matter which Sora it is. Much like how in Kid Icarus' case, they can mop the floor against Sora as well, no matter which one it is. Because you have to remember, Bayonetta is an Umbran Witch. Not only is she an Umbran Witch, she has lived for 600 plus years. She has pacts with a bunch of infernal demons and infernal beasts. She managed to launch an entire international space station shuttle towards the face of a god. She has faced against two gods, a goddess and a god in Bayonetta 1 and in Bayonetta 2. She has the ability to summon a god in Bayonetta 2 by dancing seductively. And let's not forget about the fact that she can just survive anything and almost anything that even she can breathe through space. She can live and learn and hanging on the edge of tomorrow, and she can breathe through space. And so, yeah, Bayonetta can definitely beat Sora, no matter which Sora it is. She has faced against goddesses, she has faced against gods, she fights angels for a living as well as demons at Bayonetta 2. Who knows what kind of BS she has to deal with in Bayonetta 3. She can easily wipe the floor against Sora, and if you, for those in the comment section saying otherwise, you better be prepared for what I have to say afterwards. So now, in conclusion here, we can determine that a vast majority of characters Sora can indeed beat the living daylights out of, and there are a vast majority of characters that Sora cannot win against or would come close to winning, but it can go either way. It would be a close battle with some, and it would be a losing battle with some of them. But all in all, what I can say for sure is that Sora is in Smash. So whether or not we want to speculate all of this to determine the canon of each and every individual strength of each of these characters, all in all, this video was for the purpose of showing a dedication to Sora and showing this sense of love and appreciation for Sora and how much it has taken him to be a part of the roster and how happy it is to have him as a part of the roster for me to make this theory video in the first place. Which, speaking of Sora, I gotta make a video on like the character as a whole, like the quick history of him and all that kind of stuff, because he has a very interesting character development, not just in the games. I'm talking in terms of concept art and all that kind of stuff. If you guys ever see this in the future, use this, clip this, and then make sure to tell me in the future that I have to do a quick history video on Kingdom Hearts, because I am very hyped to make that a reality one day. But despite that being a future video idea, depending on how hard you want that to be a reality, it is now time to conclude today's video. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. It was really fun speculating which characters can or cannot beat Sora, canonically of course, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for me in the comment section down below. Whether or not you agree with this, whether or not there are certain characters that require a lot more in-depth analysis, in which case I'm always happy to do specific characters that could go against specific characters in the Smash roster in the near future, depending on how much love and support you give to this video. That being said, now, for those that have been here for a very long time, you guys know how I like to end it. Keep being awesome, keep spreading love and kindness to the world, because I know you guys can and I know I can as well. Let's make sure to at least do one act of kindness each and every day to someone out there who needs it, especially in these times. Keep improving yourselves by 1%, because by improving by 1% can go a long way towards making a better tomorrow. Know that I love you guys forever and always to 120, and I can't wait to see you all in that next fantastic video. Remember guys, stay freaking sexy and take care.